Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stone Face Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are back with episode 21 of Macross 7. I love it when they're divisible by themselves.
Hmm.
Or episode to the third power. Anyway, I should go and recap what happened last time.
Last time was episode 20, Ladies Temptation. And essentially, again, it's one of those episodes that doesn't, a lot of things don't really happen. There's basically another Firebomber concert in the same place of the original concert, but now, of course, their hit single is #1, so they're very popular. Oh, by the way, yes, City 7 is still missing somewhere because that's the
By the
thing,
way, that would
running
be an
thing.
amazing name for an episode. City 7 is
Yeah.
missing.
Yeah. And the girls from the biker gang, including Rex, decide to join the party. But something happens, and Rex's personality changes significantly. Well, more like it's heightened anyway. And she goes very aggressive against Basara, including kissing him in the middle of the concert, which, of course, takes off Mylene. Um, there's also something that gambling shows up and takes Mylene, for a little walk, etc., which is fine. It's they're doing their own thing. Um, but she keeps trying to get close to him, even after the concert, goes into his apartment, etc. He did stay like late writing a new song, but after Rex managed to land a kiss on him, he seems to be even more tired. And eventually, he plays a song for her in their apartment. She screams, leaves, and it appears for the people who are waiting outside, which is the rest of the band, that something wrong happened. And my lead kind of scolds him on that, right? Um, and she takes off on her bike. And the last thing happens is that she crashes her bike somewhere else. And a light comes out of her and floats into the distance, which seems to be related to what's her name? I forgot her name. Civil, because Civil was watching the girls, going their bike ride to the concert, and then she disappeared, and then we had Rex acting all weird, and then we have the light that we associate with Sybil. So we came to the conclusion that what happened was that Sybil managed to possess Rex, tried to use her to get close to Basara, but she became overcome with emotions as she does whenever she hears Basara's music, and seems also strangely obsessed with him as well.
How far
For
apart was this made from Macross Plus?
I don't know.
Just occurring into my head the juxtaposition here of Macross Plus, which his entire plot is basically centered around. Well, not the entire plot, but the backstory of the plot centers around a SA, right? Between the two characters, that's what threw me off, right? And then coming to Macross 7, where they're playing off SA as a joke. So it is so diametrically opposed to one another storytelling wise.
it's the same year. Macross Plus was released between August, the original series, between August 25th, 1994 to June 25, 1995. And this episode, Lady Temptation, came out in March of 1995. So essentially, they were concurrent, right? So as Macross Plus was being released, so was Macross 7.
That's what I'm just saying. In Macross Plus, you have serious drama with the SA, right? It taints your entire, well, tainted mine, purview of the entire characters. And then over on the Macross 7 writing team, wouldn't it be funny if they thought he did?
But he didn't. But he
Right.
did.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's funny from the understanding that we, the audience, know, but
Mm-hmm.
on the other side, it's like, is it
Dude was.
funny?
Yeah. Uh,
And that they both could air at the same time. So,
yeah. It's a thing. And that basically was the episode. Not, I don't. Well, there was a conversation, I think, between Dr. Chiba and Captain Genius back in Battle 7 and the fleet. And we do see that Docker had snapped out of whatever was happening and he was flying his own VF-19, but this one was blue as opposed to. And there was, I think there was an attack as well. And yeah, there was an attack as well because I don't mention the attack because it happens so regularly. Oh, Giggle wins and attacks and basically um Gimli is the last of Diamond's force.
Gimli,
And he tries to
stay in
fight
Lord
him
of the
off.
Rings, goddammit. You don't belong in Macross 7.
Yeah.
I will,
Gambling.
yeah, Gimli. It's also not in my notes, but I'll bring it up now. I still don't think that Giggle, as Mom's called him, Giggly, you're affecting me now. Giggle is not under Civil. I think they're equal rank. When I was going back to take my notes, when Civil goes out to do what Lord Gippernick tells her to do, she says, "I'm taking your battalion with me," and he says, "Okay, that's fine," as though he's giving permission for her to do so. Not
Yeah.
come with me or yeah. She didn't order him around or anything. She just says, "I'm taking your battalion."
Yeah. Again, and I didn't mention the fight because the fight happens so often, and Avian doesn't really have anything to do with what's happening with Sybil. You could have the entire episode and not have that fight. The only reason why the fight I think is important is because what's his name? Gambling.
Nope, he ain't gambling. He is gambling.
Gamlin basically mentions that he's the last of Diamond Force, right? Everyone else we knocked out or killed, and
Which is
he's like,
another horrible reason you can't remember his name. Look, I have a note about how we should be having Gamlin's villain saga right now. For about the same reason as you're not remembering his name. I'll just say, there's that scene where he's walking down the hallway and he's thinking to himself, "Oh God, I'm the last Diamond Force member," because he just saw Kinryu in the hospital, and he's still thinking about how Physia is dead. And then he goes past the nurses who are like, "Oh, did you see them? They drove the bad guys away. They're our heroes, Firebomber." And it's like, oh, this should be the start of Gamlin's villain arc right here. No one fucking remembers me. I've done all the hard work. All my friends are dead. They sacrificed their lives to keep you guys alive, and you don't. Time to kill everyone.
Yeah. Well, in the battle, we also see that Basara actually falls asleep, and basically Gamlin has to do all the fighting, which he usually does anyway. Because Basara doesn't even do most of the fighting. And he actually damaged his mech and drove it away. So he actually won the battle, and that was it. So I guess those are points that are salient points, but overall, the most of the episodes was on Rex and Rex trying to get, Sybil as Rex trying to get close to Basara, right? I think it could be really a focus because she gets possessed. And then when she wakes up from it, is like, "What am I doing here?" And he's like, "Oh, whatever." And that's why when she starts, she doesn't scream there because it's Sybil. So she's doubly damned, right? She's put in a difficult position because of Sybil possessing her. And then, it gets abandoned. And everybody thinks that something happened with her and Basara, right? Although Basara, to be perfectly fine, he wasn't against her kissing him twice. He's like, "Okay, sure."
I mean,
But
not after they had that threesome the other night.
I don't know what happened there, and we
Look,
don't
she
know.
was not a good pilot, proving that she did not get trained. So we got the board. I've of course added Sybil down here, and the people she's tied to. Did I? I thought I. Okay, there she is. Yeah, I forgot she had a red line to Milia. Thought I might have had a white line because I put a white line to her and Basara because she hasn't actually attacked Basara. In fact, she's, I don't know. Some people would say better than attacked Basara. I don't know. Depends on what you think about Rex. So white line, don't fucking know. What's the green line go to? Of course, Giggle. I thought about putting a white line to Giggle because of their last scene. She tells him to leave, but she doesn't actually attack him. And Giggle looks like he has some sort of like emotional response about it. So kind of don't know.
Like
But
he was felt like he was down, like oh no.
well, he went out of his way to bring her back first, and then she's like, "Leave," and he's like, "But," you know. So he goes, "I can't." Anyway, and then of course her to Kinryu because she did shit to Kinryu. Glad I took the surprised look face that he has.
Get your face.
What's that going on? Anyway, I don't think I've added anything new to anybody else other than Civil. But again, like I said, I'm only up to episode 19 on keeping the board up to date in my notes. But I guess, speaking of the notes, so when Giggle wakes Civil up, he asks, "Do you recognize me?" Which must imply that Giggle is in whatever appearance he's always had.
Or maybe she would be confused because she just woke up from whatever hibernation thing is.
You're
I mean, it's been
so you're taking my
500,000
point.
years,
You're taking my point, and you're saying that he's doing a what year is to her? Who's the president?
base kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, I'm going more
I
on
mean, I'm not
our
saying you're wrong.
previous.
I'm
I'm
not
going
saying
on
you're
our
wrong, but
previous discussion about them inhabiting bodies. That Giggle asking, "Do you recognize me?" when we had a whole back and forth about them inhabiting bodies is a poignant question rather than what year is it, or I don't know, a better example for Macross. Let's see. Lord Geppernick says after Giggle says there isn't enough spiritua to bring them back. By the way, that's what they say, to bring them back, not to wake them up, to bring them back. Giggle, there are colors which do not go with the pictures I paint. Find them. I'm assuming the pictures I paint is the sphere things being reassembled that's always in front of Lord Geppernick. We know different parts have different colors. We've seen the spiritual reader seems to indicate spiritua is also measured in color spectrum. Additionally, when Geppernick got the musician spiritua, they completed a part of their holographic display thing. So I think this was just a very cryptic way to tell Giggle to find some very specific spiritua. Unfortunately, Giggle immediately says, "Man, what's that supposed to mean?" So I guess I'm more in tune with the plot than Giggle is.
yeah,
There's also Sybil is wandering around the place going, "Animo spiritua, build spiritua, spiritual paradise." The problem with Sybil, just a quick aside, is that she says stuff in 2 word segments. There's no real deep, complete thoughts going on here. I had a thought about Sybil, which was that I thought she was talking about the things she was looking for,
hmm
because Lord Gippernick gives her the mission,
yeah,
and she says anima spiritua, and then she, devours a bird. It's like, oh, anima, maybe animal? And then she says build spiritua. But then she goes on to say anima spiritua again. So it's like, well, maybe she didn't, or I don't know. I deleted the thought because I wasn't sure, but that's the basis of that one. In episode 17, the security ship that goes to investigate Sybil's first appearance, one of their cameras had a readout that looked just like the spiritual scanners that the bad guys have. The element that's confusing me is that we see it on a camera that's looking at Sybil in her energy ball form. So does the Macross crew just have a spiritual detector already? Or does Sybil's energy ball give off colorations that look like a spiritual readout when captured in a camera?
that's a big shrug right there. I don't know
Well,
what
when
to
you
tell you
see
about that.
her flying at Basara when he's singing, there's that like
hmm
white wall thing that comes up between them, and you
hmm
see her spiritual radar thing like right in front between them. Like when she's looking
hmm
at Basara, she's looking at him through a hole in the spiritual readout. So
hmm
is that real? Like, is that not her vision, or is like the camera picking it up?
Could be part of her power set or something in her suit, because we know that she absorbs through this kind of jewel or thing that she has in her forehead. So
Yeah.
maybe her suit has more. We say she has a lot of power, but maybe part of it is her suit as well, which is pretty skin tight for
Well, it's
obvious
a
reasons,
weird
I guess.
suit. I was even thinking about this earlier. She's like Supermaning it, where it's like underwear on the outside.
Mhm.
Because you would think it's like all purple leggings and it goes up this weird outfit thing. And then, because she's got the purple top too, so she's like wearing 3 layers on different segments. But the underwear's on the outside, the old school Superman style. So,
And also has this weird thing that seems like a very mini bikini, like a
well, no,
very
that's what I'm
small
talking
bikini.
about. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's the Superman underwear tights thing on the outside. Let's see. Also in episode 17, they send the Momai. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say the name of the ship. It's Momoi, Momi. With the
Mommy,
D
mama.
Force. Oh, they send it with the D Force to City 7's location, right? The Momi has a hangar and a complement of Valkyries on board. D Force used their fold boosters, the experimental technology that they said had a 50% chance of failure. Why didn't they just dock D Squad into Momi's hangar rather than risk the one use could kill us fold boosters?
I suppose the idea would be to clear. The force would go first, try to clear any area, and then the ship would come after.
They
But it's
arrive
too
at
close. Don't
exactly the
want.
same time.
Yeah, that would be the only reason why it would make sense to me.
It doesn't make sense. Why are we going to give our top squad a 50% chance to die when literally the thing has a hangar? Civil's reaction to Basara's song is actually confusing to everything I've put together so far. We know his music can radiate spiritua in an area around him, that the song can raise people's spiritua and push them past their natural limit. She wants spiritua, so you'd think that this would work for her. The only other fact about the matter is that Basara has special chord C, which made him a target of interest for collecting a sample of a spiritua in the past, before they then made him a target for assassination. Then it's a negative thing is implied, but not really clarified why. The most we can guess is that it's a wavelength thing, according to Ray's machine readouts, which explains why Mylene singing the same songs doesn't affect Gamlin in the same way. Either way, it's a hindrance if Basara wants to bring everyone together, that his voice actually hurts the enemy.
You know what? I think it's more because what we see later on in all the episodes, it seems more like she's overwhelmed with the sort of emotions that she's not expecting, which could be a callback to Super Dimensional Fortress Macross, right? Whereas like this particular, it's not simply the spiritual; it's the music itself that overwhelms her, right? It's like, oh, I can't process these emotions, right? Uh, so we might be going a little bit back into the whole
The
combination of spiritual plus culture shock thing that we saw back in SCF1.
the only
Maybe.
thing I think supports that argument is the fact that Milia brought up, hey, don't you remember I'm one of those Centrati that suffered from culture shock? That they brought it up in this show for any reason supports
Yeah,
the
but
idea that they might be leveraging that to remind you for later for something that they're doing.
her reactions to her face, if you read her face, is like her face wells up in with
I'm
tears,
trying
like
not
oh,
to. She does a lot of things with her
yeah,
face, man. You could read that a lot of ways.
yeah,
You know,
and
she does things with her face that explains why she would take over Rex later. I'm just saying.
yeah, wells up with tears and all like that, like
Oh
and
yeah,
then she
no, she
sleeps,
literally
but
and he goes, "Did you eat something bad?" Like he stops
yeah,
singing for a second. Did you eat something bad? And then keeps singing. It's a weird interlude.
yeah. So
I'm just saying there is a lot. She goes through a lot, but I think it is wavelength regarding because again, Ray does that has that whole scene in episode 19 where he's checking the wavelengths and he's trying to match to he says between the song and it, and I think he's referring obviously to Civil, but he's being generic enough that I think because there's also 3 wavelengths, so it might be Basara, Mylene and it. Because again, the implication. Well, I think I've got that further on in there. So episode 18 actually proved me right about a thing I said back in the first 4 episodes. Akusho is that weird tube ship docked to City 7. We kept going back and forth on where Basara lived, was in City 7 or not. Well, it's not. Akusho is just that little unregistered ship docked to City 7 for some reason. Well, I think the reason I discounted my own thought on it before was Mylene's car doesn't have a roof. So I said, she can't drive to one of the other ships. She has no roof. She can't leave City 7 in her car.
Well, I think the docking area might be the stairs area,
No, I'm saying
basically.
it's docked. We weren't thinking it was docked. That's why we discounted it. We
Yeah.
just thought it was a ship nearby. So, Kinryu isn't in a coma like everyone else that gets spiritual trained. He's in a similar state, except that his anxiety and fear are also elevated. If fear raises the level of spiritua, as we've learned, then this might not be this might not be spiritual related, right? Also, if Sybil caused this, wouldn't that imply she's kind of her own spiritua farm? That she can put people into a state that causes them to gain spiritua in order to feed off of it?
I mean, maybe. It might be able to explain why Giggle revived her first, right?
I mean, I don't know. I think that's more of an emotional thing. He clearly has some sort of connection, and it's throwing him. Just based on that one scene, of course, but
A couple of things, really. The way every time he interacts with her, they clearly have some kind of connection. They know each other from the past, or at least Giggle knows her from the past, whether she acknowledges or not, right?
I hope that she's like in a low power state right now. I know she's doing crazy things, but I hope she's in a low power state right now, and she's gonna get more spiritual later, and she's gonna start being able to make full sentences. You know, like she's just in low power mode. She can get out 2 words at a time. Well, it just means the way Giggle talks to her, you think that they have conversations in the past. It's like, congratulations, you got a promotion. I knew it would happen to you. And like, you don't talk to somebody that way. All they say is like, spiritual paradise. Exactly. Yo, knows know what I'm talking about. What the fuck is going on, man? Anyway, just the things that we know. The fear raises spiritual levels, and this could be she could be the Basara of the bad guy faction. Not like an attitude or anything, but hey, no, Basara sings, he radiates spiritual, and it raises everybody up. That she could be that sort of thing. Also, we know that they want to create the spiritual farm. We don't know what the elements of that are going to be. And Sybil is like the only new thing.
But the thing about Spiritual Farm is it seemed that Lord Kaepernick wasn't bothered by the fact that Giggle woke up Sybil, but it seemed to be the wrong timing. Like, basically, he says, "Oh, you woke her up." Like, okay. I was like, "Oh, that's," and he's like, he tries to justify, like, "Oh, this is all the spiritual we had." It's like, yeah, no, you're not supposed to do that.
My
But he
problem
doesn't.
with that insight is that it's the way it happens. Like Lord Geppernick doesn't actually look like they care. Like it's like obviously against their plan. Giggle acts like a kid who just broke a vase and got caught. That he just goes off and explains everything real quick by himself. No one accused him of anything. He just shows up and says, "I did everything." You know, Lord Geppernick is like his mom. She goes, "You broke that vase," and he's like, "It's all the glue we had." He just goes off.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more a clash of personalities. Like, Kaepernick is like, yeah, it was gonna happen eventually. Like, I'm more. It's more like at best it would be, or worse it would be. I'm disappointed that you lied to me rather than what you did. Right? It's like, yeah, it was gonna happen anyway. But it gives you enough to say this wasn't supposed to happen right now. So if
Well,
this is part of the spiritual farm, wouldn't have happened earlier.
well, the quote that I said earlier about Lord
Mm.
Geppernick about I'm painting in colors that I don't have or don't need or whatever. That is what he says to Giggle right after. He, appears on the screen. Hey, you woke up civil. Giggle freaks out and does his whole explanation routine, and then Lord Gepernick's response is, "I'm painting in colors that I do not need. Get them to me." That's it. This
That don't have, yeah.
yeah, and
She's like,
Lord
yeah.
Gepernick has no readable face, so
Mhm.
it's like that's why I'm saying it reads to me as I don't fucking care. Let's just keep doing whatever we're doing.
Yeah.
Um, let's see here. Macross 7 has been on its journey for 7 years, so it launched 2 years before Macross Plus, which means it would be entirely possible to have Sharon Apple fans on board that wouldn't know what happened to her.
I mean, they have instantaneous communications. That
Depending.
presumably that you know.
Depends. Apparently, you got to be somewhere in the network because Battle 7 can't contact City 7 until they figured out where they were. So it implies that City 7 couldn't contact
Yeah,
somebody
but
else.
if this happened, I mean, this is 5 years after Macross Plus, so they were trying for 7 years. That news of what happened with Sharon Apple would have reached anyway, right?
I know we had was it just last episode, right, that they talked about the Galactic Network?
Mm-hmm.
We never see anything about it. No one talks about anything happening anywhere else. Also, we
And we
know
also talk
that
in the intro. We're told that Macross 5 is also in contact with them as well.
so my problem is that I didn't get up to episode 20 when I was making my notes, so I got nothing
Mm-hmm.
about this. It's just my thought of we never used any of this. So the fact that we know we have like fold boosters and we get warships and everything, it's like if we have contact with all the rest of civilization, hey, we need a little backup here. We're constantly being attacked by this weird force. Can y'all send in like an expeditionary fleet or something? Help us out? What's the worst? Didn't we send you guys with like 20 warships? Do you really need us? Yeah, it would be really helpful. Or, Battle 7 isolated out there probably should still have contact with because they didn't get stolen. Hey, we kind of lost City 7. Can you, send us some backup? We're losing a lot of fighters. I just, it's the Voyager problem for me.
Also, I mean, they still have to have well, yeah, they've been 7 years. That means they have to have some kind of contact. Otherwise, how do you deliver the plans for the VF-17, VF-19, right?
They launched 2 years before Macross Plus. We don't know how long the YF-19 was in development.
Yeah, but it was still in testing during Macross
Right,
Plus.
right. That might why they're so defensive about the VF-19 that they have now.
Yeah, but they at some point they had to deliver the plans, right? At least the plans for them to manufacture it
Well,
over
I'm
here.
saying they might have like a military database that included the test plans for the YF-19 before it got made, and then they made their own, which is why, because you remember, I'm about to call him Gimli like you do. Uh, Gamlin was kept trying to get information on it, and it was like top secret there too. And I don't feel like it would be top secret in the rest of the world.
I mean, it would be if it's an original experimental aircraft,
Right, right. I'm saying
or
if it's an
or it was,
experimental aircraft still for them, but it's not an experimental aircraft anymore in the rest of the Cross universe.
or this particular one got reclassified with Project M.
Well, Operation
Like, oh
M.
yeah, so he recognized the fighter. It's like, oh, it's a VF-19. So the fighter itself, but the one that Basara is flying, that might be the part where it's
It
because it
it
has the modification. It has like speakers and a speaker gun and it has a different setup. It's not a standard
no, I mean I get it. I
VF-19.
get it. I just don't think that
Yeah,
the YF or VF-19
VF
is a what? No, no.
the
We were
VF-19.
talking about the prototype model and the regular model, so I said YF or
Yeah,
VF. I don't
yeah.
think either of them is an excuse for why they would have or not have the galactic network. Again, they don't use it, which is my biggest. If you're not shown to use it, then it doesn't really exist in the show, right? If
Yeah.
if Voyager they never used the holodeck or replicators, I would think they don't have fucking replicators or a holodeck. So they introduced the concept, but we don't really use it. And the fact that I assume Macross 5 is somewhere out there in the galaxy too,
Mhm.
that maybe two isolated ships are contacting each other. If you're not, I don't know, it's a sticking point for me. If you're not talking to UN Spacey Command, then I don't assume you're talking to anybody. Maybe if they show us like a mail service, that would. Well, I mean, that would give it to me, right? Here's your mail from Earth, but nobody fucking knows anybody from Earth, so I don't know anything. All right. The narrator tells us in episode 19 that Sybil is collecting spiritua to awaken her companions, which is crazy to me because no one implicitly says that in the show.
Mhm.
I mean, we've come up with that idea ourselves. No one in the show has said that. Even Lord Geppernick, you can't. We don't have enough to bring you back. That's not wake you up. We've
Bring
only
you back.
seen
Yeah.
one. Sybil is the only person we've seen woken up. So the narrator tells us something the show didn't tell us.
But it all implication that they're as powerful as she is. Yeah, there's no way of winning this conventionally. You
In
know.
the scene where the narrator says that, it shows us the basically a bigger shot of where Sybil got woken up, and
Hmm.
it looks like her thing is hanging down off of this much larger structure. Like it's got like four legs and this giant bulbous thing, and her
Hmm.
thing is hanging up from the bottom of it. So I don't know. I don't know if that
Yeah,
thing was
could.
like keeping her alive for 500,000 years, or if it represents like a ship she was on, or I mean, she doesn't need one, but we don't know if she can fold or not. I don't know. Don't know. Last thought here. I think Sybil radiates spiritua the same way Basara does when he sings, and that it is the cause of everyone going crazy around her sometimes. That it's something she activates, like during the traffic thing, where everyone goes road crazy, or when she attacked the terrorists. Milia felt it and commented on it.
Yeah.
So she is the inverse Basara, where Basara
I mean,
powers
I
people
agree.
up, she drives them crazy.
It seems to fit. I mean, I'm not gonna. Yeah, that all the evidence goes to that. So yeah,
Everything's a scattershot of clues. All we can do is
yeah.
assemble them and make a guess. All right. Well, those are all of my thoughts. You have anything? You have anything else to add?
Um, I think we're as interesting. Again, you have these isolated elements that are somewhat interesting or very interesting, but for me, they're not really gelling because now we have her. We talked about it before. So it's another thing get thrown in. Is like, okay, so what is it? You know, what is she doing? Well, I don't know. She's there, just wants to kiss Basara. I guess that's the thing, and wants to suck the. She's a vampire. She's a space vampire doing space vampire things,
I will
basically.
say I'm still disappointed in the last episode, but the episodes before that, where she's been introduced and doing things, I don't have a problem with.
Yeah,
It's the last episode. Oh, she take over bodies and sexually harass people. Okay,
yeah.
don't need that.
She's
Oh, one
yeah.
other one other thing I forgot to mention, just the Gamlin moment thing. I
Hmm.
appreciate that they gave Gamlin his Die Hard thing, because if you remember
Hmm.
the episode before he does Die Hard, he gets into the fighter and says, "Oh, I'll show Mylene how good I am." Instantly gets owned and goes into like depression about it. So, oh, and also I did a comparison shot to Vizia's um, picture of his family and the
Yeah.
actual people. They do look the same, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's what they did with Gamlin is what's called this. It's a Shark Tank moment for James Bond. Right? James Bond things. He gets captured by a mook slapping him in the back of the head. So it's like, oh, and then you put him in a very day. Hey, by the way, this is still James Bond, and look how cool he is, right? That basically is the James Bond moment, right? It's like, oh, remember, he is a badass. I'll show you how badass it is.
All right, that's it. I think we should go ahead and get on into it.
But before we get started,
Make sure that you hit the like button.
Hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
on top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
Unfiltered.
Uncensored.
And uncut.
as well as some early access stuff,
You can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Yo. See? Nope, that's not it. Unless they showed us a weird angle. Because the one they show here in the opening is spherical, whereas it's a tube when we see it. Also, you gotta admit that the song does kind of get old. I like them, but I've also heard them every episode and have listened to them on my own, which is probably to the detriment. But imagine that you're in the world, right? And every time you get into a fight, they play the same song at you.
Yeah.
It's very rarely does he sing a secondary song at the enemy.
Yeah.
And it's not like this in Trotty. They're not going to go back talking, which song did you get? Because we know that these guys are like brain dead. Not brain dead, but you know.
But even then, May had, she had one or two songs that she always played, of course, but she had like 5 or 7 songs. So, you know.
Well, the thing is that most of them got hit with it once, right?
Yeah.
Well, I guess technically they had the life-size doll.
Mm-hmm. And the records as well.
I don't know, because the weirdest thing is that we know there's more singers out there for them to listen to.
Yeah. Also, I think because in Macross, well, no, actually, it was I was gonna say it's an instrumental, but it wasn't. So that's a lie.
The recap, just in case you forgot anyone's names. Shit, that said something really important and I missed it. It defined what spiritual was. It said, human something known as spiritual. It's like, fuck, I missed the word. That's why I said she keeps saying anima spiritua, but then she ate the bird, and then she said a different spiritua.
Church bells? Yeah.
So that's the difference in audio. I don't hear anything right now. I mean, I hear the people talking. I didn't hear church bells.
Oh, she does full body.
It's Blade Runner.
まずは朝一番のホットな情報から。今シティセブンで人気沸騰中のファイヤーボンバーが新しいアルバム制作のためレコーディングを始めました。すごい人気ですからね。ファンの人たちにはたまらないかもしれません。
Plus, if you know that the song drives her away, because you've literally put it on the news, why wouldn't you just put it on loudspeakers throughout the city all the time? Didn't they do that in Star Trek? One of the last movies?
Does nobody see her just floating there?
Literally? Oh, Flower Girl. Oh, Flower Girl has a unique spiritual. But she's saved by being so weird. No, there's an episode where she's literally walking down the sidewalk, just walking through people. And she's fine. Nobody notices. It's a comment I believe I made during Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood once, where Lust is just standing in a crowd of people. It's like people would notice this. That guy looked like Bobby.
Oh no, she got possessed. Or she's about to get possessed.
The weirdest thing about this is that. But the second weirdest thing about this was why would she even hide in an air vent? Looks like Bobby, doesn't he?
Yeah. But it's someone else.
そうだ、録音テストに行くんだったわ。
Yeah, but Sybil is the girl who, like, crashes through windows, right? And ran through a ship. Why would she hide in an air vent?
音符は記号じゃねえんだ。心なんだよ。
バサラの気分次第でやられたらこっちが困るのよ。
ぐちゃぐちゃ言ってないで、俺に合わせりゃいいだろう。
何言ってんのよ。アキコさんどう思います？
そうね。まあとにかくバサラに合わせてみたら。
So is she still in Akiko, or did she either go to that other guy?
No, the guy's just unconscious.
Well,
So-
the way she's like, oh, what was I doing? You know, like she came back too. So I was like, did she transfer herself, or?
コールのやつ、一体どこ行っちまったんだ？
あれ？
ほう
さっきアキコさんを呼びに行きませんでした？
知らないわよ。
またどっかで昼寝してんじゃないの？まったく困ったやつだ。
それじゃあ、そろそ
But
ろ
to be
始め
fair
ます
to
か。
the confusing element here, she does always wear those sunglasses. So.
Well, that's a new song, at least.
We're in our hair metal phase.
This I like.
It's all 80s. This 90s.
yeah.
No, it's all 80s. This 90s show is using all 80s music. This is hair metal to me. I don't know what it is to you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and we see what her reaction is like.
What's the solution to this?
何？このゾクゾクした感覚は。
More music, I guess. Drive her away. I don't know, or manage to talk to her and convince her that.
No, sorry, I meant from
You
her
know.
perspective. I can't
I don't
stand
know.
the music. It's too
あと5時
pleasurable.
間で補給
What's
を
the
呼び
solution to
準備
this?
整います。遅えんだよ。
Get-
分かってる
get laid?
てめえたち。あと3時間以内に全ての作業を
That
終
seems
わ
like
ら
a
せないと
lesser option. I mean,
た
she's
だじゃ済まねえぞ。
already having that, right? So,
Well, she gets it out of her system, then you know. I mean, it's been 500,000 years, so maybe she just needs to get it out of her
司令
system.
がまた無断でサンプルたちを攻撃しました。そして今出撃準備を整えております。
サンプルたちは無傷で手に入れたい。お前が見張れ。
閣下お呼びだそうで。
これからはすべてこの者に伝える。ギギル、お前はこの者に従え。
それじゃあランチ
come
タイ
on,
ムにし
man. I don't
ま
even have
す
to wear a helmet. This fool gets lost in a sea of people that look just like him.
ミレンさん、お客さんですよ。レコーディング大変でしょ。これ
But he said he can deliver
の
flowers.
皆さんでどうぞ。
And unless
うちのママパイロット
it's
教官
spiritual
の
also says it's a ghost detector,
それ
then
は
Flower
もう
Girl is real.
一つのミスも許されませんでしたよ。
I thought we already
才
gave
能
up
の
on
かけら
that.
もないって言われて。
Just a
ライ
reminder
ンの
to the
新人
viewers.
パイロットが辞めさせられたことか。
Yeah, no, I mean, I thought I openly gave up on the ghost thing.
ミリア市長は家庭でも厳しい。
However, I would say a spirit chick probably could detect ghosts since it's heavily on emotion, and ghosts are all about unresolved issues. Also, fear.
Oh,
想像以上のパワーだわ。気に入った。
She did call herself young 2 episodes ago.
市民を守るのは市長の仕事。それにこれを乗りこなせるのは私しかいないでしょ。
しかし。
そうだわ。期待を
I mean, the only one.
目立つように。
I mean, they have more than one, but only one pilot available, so.
I mean, that's not even true either. Technically, Physia is running around in a... Sorry, Doctor. Doctor is running around in a VF-19.
Yeah, but remember, he's with Battle 7.
Yeah, no,
not
I'm just
here
saying.
in City 7.
I'm saying, he got more pilots. Also, we have fold pods or whatever the fuck they're called.
でしょ?
Ray is gonna be real uncomfortable about this.
例えば、レイとはどこで知り合ったの？
聞いてないんですか？
知ってるでしょ？あの人は言わないの、そういうこと。
そうですね、まあ。
あなたもそうね。
That song is from that's a Sharing Apple song that they're playing in the background. I know you're gonna blur it for the viewers, but yeah.
How do you listen to music?
Muted.
I mean, probably not. I don't typically get a lot of problems with the music, except for the opening and ending.
なんだよその目は。熱気バサラ、お前というやつ
Why are you getting mad?
Because he heard her. You know, he's a gentleman. He's
no, that's what I'm saying. Why are you getting mad that she's upset that you're asking her? You should be like, thumbs up, and then run after her.
No, I mean, he's being... well, there goes his lunch.
He's being a cuck. If that's what you want to... if that's the way you want to think about it.
No, come on, man.
No, he's upset because she's upset because she has a thing for you, but you have a thing for her. No, you say thumbs up, go for it, and then chase after her and console her. Is what you do.
Yeah, that's a bit...
So are we finally
debriefing?
Yeah, getting rid of my concern from the preamble? I don't know what we call that part.
Oh,
just
we
a
have
word.
a name.
Just a fucking word. Oh wait, no, this isn't solving... Oh, custom card. This isn't solving my problem. He was just talking to all the other commanders of the fleet. I thought he was talking to Earth, like I said he should.
他の女性にもなんてやつだ。手当たり次第なんだから。バサラというのは
I love them as a couple. They are cute together.
あんな誠意のないやつとは絶対関わらない方がいいんです。ミレーヌさんも言い寄られたでしょう。
私はないけど。
それは幸いです。あいつは根っからのプレイボーイなんですよ。純愛だとか。
I think the thing Riley needs to hear is maybe he's not that into you.
本来男女というのは
I mean, we know he is, but I fucking hate it.
うまく言えないんですけど。ガムリ
ンさんはそうなんですか？
だからその愛っていうのは。とにかくバサラとは関わらない方がいい。
I'm actively going on dates with you, woman. What do you not understand?
あんたは一体どこから湧いてきたの？
私は虫じゃありません。
似たようなもんよ。
参りましたな。
関係ないんだから引っ込んでなさいよ。
ミレーヌさん、始めますよ。はーい。
それじゃガムリンさん、また。
いやー、あなたのような方がいて、私は心強いです。はあ。
What your leg sounds like?
Oh. Okay, we saw red, a new red mech. I remember I thought that it was a VF-19, but it might be Diamond's Force painted red.
Oh yeah, she said
which
painted
confirms,
red.
Yeah, which confirms the fact that yes, he's by painting both red. It's very confusing.
Also, it explains the lines, right? Because I kept getting it confused with her VF-11, was it? And that's why I would. It has the same paint job, because that's what she requested. Basara will be played by Van Halen.
It kind of reminds me of the beginning of the Immigrant Song, which is not Van Halen. What is it? What's he?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Sorry, you said the Immigrant. I thought the Trooper, and that's not the right thing.
No. Can people not see that light?
Maybe not.
I guess not.
I mean, it could be, narrative thing for us to know.
Yeah.
Because nobody can see Spiritua either.
アキコさん大丈夫ですか？
大丈夫よ。
冷たいものでもどうぞ。
ありがとう。
疲れてるんじゃないですか？
平気よ。
よかった。今アキコさんに倒れられたら大変だもの。
大丈夫よ。
And nobody has found Paul,
何？
by the way. Paul is knocked out of that office, and nobody's going to like, hey, Paul, what's up?
No one scheduled that office to be used today.
Yeah.
うまく言います。バサラ。アキコさん、私バサラと重なって、いや、私何言ってんだろう。それじゃ失礼します。
邪魔なやつ。
It's kind of weird how in that moment, Spiritua acted the same way that souls do in Mortal Kombat. When Shang Tsung tries to take your soul.
うるせえな。戦闘に来たわけじゃねえよ。シビルを探しに来たんだ。しかし、おめえは黙ってな。
Giggle, you're doing such a bad job. I'm gonna give command to the zombie.
一体誰がこんなことを。
いいでしょ。気に入ってもらえた？
市長。
出撃よ、ガムリン。
市長には VF-17 を操縦するのは無理です。
何言ってんの？ついてらっしゃい。あなたに本当のドッグファイトを教えてあげるわ。
That's a VF-17?
Yeah. They said it multiple times.
Oh, yeah, because the other one is a VF-11. Yeah, never mind.
Well, that explains that previous conversation we had last episode. I said specifically, they don't never mention what these models are, or do they? And you didn't say a damn thing, so I guess you just didn't know either.
I didn't know.
I think I heard it when I was taking my notes for the last 3 episodes.
よくそんなことが言えるわね。
ですから、それに関しては何度もお詫びしたはずです。
私は市長なの。いいから私の命令に従いなさい。
軍の規律に従って
Yeah,
もらいます。
you're civilian authority. I do not respond to you.
うるせえ。敵が来たんだから追い払うんだよ。
She says that shit, and I think of the Babylon 5 episode Chain of Command. The whole speech is literally about you do not follow the orders of a civilian government over your military command. I guess he'll be able to shoot one guy to his right.
プレイボーイめ。何のこった？ミレーヌさんに手を出したら俺が黙っていないぞ。
戦闘中何を言い争っているのですか？しかもミレーヌのことで。
いや、こちらのことで。誰が止めようが、俺は歌うぜ。
Good choice. 2 reds.
Yeah.
点でバラバラ。
スピリチュア。
I wish there was a way to read that so I could tell what the hell. Didn't hear any of that, did you? Watch the TV. I'm taking command of this mission. Call me Quamzim.
奴は敵前逃亡しようとした。そんな野郎には死あるのみだ。
So just decided to go outside, find a guy in an alley. The rats later ate that man.
全部撃ち落としてやるわ。
市長、接近しすぎです。
ドッグファイトっていうのはね、こうするのよガムリン。
What, just hold down the trigger while firing at full auto? Sure.
You just get.
How long has this fight been going on for? She left a building, found 3 men, now is in the jungle. Forest.
Oh, I know.
Still, I mean, how hard up are the guys that they didn't hire no conversation whatsoever?
Again, he's being used. All the fighting is being done by someone else.
ギギル司令が直接手を下したと。
ギギルめ、わからぬようだな。
Well, you haven't explained it to him. Oh.
Wow, today's desert day, apparently.
お疲れ様。
市長、お見事でした。しかし危ないので操縦は控えめに。
あなたが来なくても前期撃ち落としていたわ。
ママ、もしかしてガムリンさんに助けられたの？
To be fair, I think they both got 3 each.
ママを助けてくれて
Yeah,
ありがとう。
but she got hit because she wasn't paying attention.
いえ、当然のことをしたまで。
Yeah, I just mean the kill count's the
マ
same
マ
though.
ったらよっぽど
Yeah.
悔しかったのね。
I mean, Gamble is definitely our ace. Especially now that he's the only remaining member of D-Force. I just mean like Hikaru had Max and for a time Heyo.
Yeah.
Gamblin's got nobody.
Another episode where much ado about nothing, really. Well, we got names.
There was,
Proto Devil.
there was the stuff
and
that was
Ba-
really
and Baruga.
important during the narrator thing at the beginning that I just
Yeah.
fucking missed, so it's gonna be in a notes section later on. Get ready for
Yeah.
that. But yeah. I mean, it's more of the seduction civil thing, which I guess
Yeah,
I don't
she's
really
looking-
understand. Is it her controlling them, or is it her influencing them?
He
Because
seems to have an ability to just mesmerize them, and they go like, "Oh."
well, no, I mean,
she's.
I mean, when she's in the body, when she's in Kiko, is it a Kiko and she's influencing Kiko to do what she wants, or is she a Kiko?
I think she's inside their body.
Right. Well, I mean, there's a difference. She could be riding, right? She could turn into energy and just be like body riding, in which case she's telling a Kiko what to do, and a Kiko is doing it. Because again, we only ever see her say 2 words at a time. She doesn't seem to have all this nuance. In fact, the most nuance she ever had, I found confusing when she was crawling through the vents.
Mm-hmm.
She's like the Hulk. She bursts through walls. She didn't crawl through vents. Okay, Rex, number 2.
燃えてきたぜ。
バカ言ってないで。シティセブンが溶けちゃうよ。
死ぬまで歌うぞ。
次回、熱き炎の男たち。
Oh my God! Even she called him up and like, "Dude, oh, we're gonna burn up. Oh, I'm just gonna sing to the end." It's like, God, Mighty Basara is so stupid.
Did they like damage the ship's engines or something? Or
I
are they
guess we're
gonna fold next to? Because look, space is pretty damn big. You've got to
Yeah.
royally fuck up to get anywhere near a star.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. But again, in this clip, in this final, just like, oh yeah, we're gonna burn up. Oh, well, I'm gonna sing until I die. I was like, what? That's your. I mean, that's the thing about the show. The show knows that up to this point, the Basara is doing practically nothing. Everybody calls him on it, and he's still, no, I'm just gonna do what I'm gonna do. People don't understand him. Like, I swear to God, I would have punched him in the face.
Well, he would dodge it. We've seen how that works.
I'll get a fucking machine gun.
I think he would dodge it. I mean, he's the protagonist. He's got plot armor.
Anime, I don't know.
Also, we don't know the context. Something might have been like shafted out of that, right?
But the thing is, we've seen this before. Everybody's like, "Hey, you're doing this," and he's like, "Yeah, I don't care." And he doesn't explain either. He's like, I just want to sing." Like, "But what are you doing?" "Oh, you don't understand." It's like, okay, you can tell me.
Well, two things. Either
he doesn't know what he's doing.
Well, no, two things. Things may have changed, right? There might be a reason for him doing it. Benefit of the doubt. Or two, we're working our way towards a breaking point where he has to explain himself or something bad will happen. But you can only do the same thing. Well, you can only do the same thing so many times, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we might just be approaching a breaking point because certain characters have been tired of it. So at some point, the problem is the people who would make excuses for him are the ones putting him up. You know, Max, Ray, Milia seems to be fine with whatever the hell he's doing.
So far.
Yeah, so everybody in power is willing to make an excuse for him. Except for the scientists who are on board Operation M, who said that they should shelve it for a while. That old episode, and then Ray said something, and then Max said something, and then they're like, "Oh, we'll continue doing it then." And the scientists were like, "Oh, no," you know.
Yeah.
So clearly, the scientists don't think things are going to plan. But then again, they don't seem to share anything with each other either. So it seems like Ray knows what's going on, and Ray's talking to no one.
I don't know. I think we might be giving Ray too much credit, to be perfectly honest.
No, because my whole theory is on that wavelength thing, and Ray was working on the wavelength, so.
Anyway, another episode where really not a lot happens except, Lady Vampire keeps sucking up the life out of everybody.
Well, this has been a vampire show since like episode 5? What was the vampire thing? Well, the infiltrators came in and we called them vampires.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate, though, that I said, oh, maybe it's going to be a kiss thing. And it wasn't Rex. Well, actually, it was Rex kissing, but random chance. It did turn into a kiss thing, though. It's all it is now. And it is Shang Tsung, devouring souls.
Oh, Life Force. Have you seen the movie?
I haven't, actually, but I was just watching another channel where somebody was recommending people to watch Life Force, so it's ironic I've heard it, like, so many times now in the last 3 days. A movie I've never seen. Anyway, final thoughts?
We'll see what happens next, but also, you were right. Choosing the color red for Myriad, I know why they do it, because it's a legacy color, and that's her color, right? But it's just confusing because you have Basara's is red, Milia's red, and then someone else's other colors, and it can be confusing.
Milia's is red with stripes, and the stripes can be non-apparent on a far viewing thing, or when they're moving around.
Mm-hmm.
Well, fighter jets, prone to do. So, well, anyway, I've been Theta, this has been Lessons, we've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?